Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry, I'm filming from my phone today, so I hope it's not too much of an issue, but I think we can make this work. So today I want to talk about something that I get asked about all the time, and that's job hopping. So people want to know, is job hopping a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it something that employers are going to frown upon when you go to interview for a job? That's a question I get asked a lot. And so if you ask me straight up if I think job hopping is a bad thing, I'm going to tell you no. I think that us young people especially, we owe it to ourselves to kind of find a job that aligns with our passion, something that we are good at. And I think it's pretty impossible to know that when you're 18 years old. I'm sorry. Some of you guys do get lucky. There are people out there that major in something that they really like, and then they find jobs in that field that they love. But most of us kind of have no clue, and we're just kind of taking a shot in the dark. So yes, I think that it's okay if done correctly to job hop. That being said, I do think that you should give your employer at least 1 year of your time. I think 1 year is pretty fair. I think 1 year gives you enough time to kind of hone in on whatever skills you can learn in that 1 year. And believe me, you can learn something from any job if you have the right mindset. And then also, you're kind of being fair to your employer, because your employer did take time and energy into training you, into developing you, and I think that you ought to at least use that year to help that business out. But after that year, if you decide that that is not where you see yourself long term, after that year, I think, yes, you need to get out. You need to find something that you're interested in, find something that is a better fit, because I personally feel like after that year, any time that you spend there knowing that it's not something you want to do for the rest of your life, I think that's just a waste. I think it's a waste of time. I think that you ought to be using that time to figure out what it is that you really want to do and finding something that's a better fit. But I also think that you need to be strategic about your job hopping. I never condone random job hopping. I don't think it's going to help you or anyone, and that is what I consider a waste. So what do I mean about being strategic? Well, just basic common sense, really. If you're looking to explore a career in HR, for example, let's say you work in banking and you're like, oh, I freaking hate banking, I want to work in HR, then that's fine. You should totally pursue the field of HR. But that means that when you're ready to get a new job, you should not take a job like working at a bakery or something random. Like, you should be working towards either some job in HR or at least a job that gives you the skills that you're going to ultimately need in HR. So don't be random. Don't just take a job for reasons like, oh, you know, your friend works there, or you're going to get like a 1% increase at another job. Make sure that you're being strategic with your job hopping. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And then this one's a big one, and that's that you need to make sure that you can communicate why you're leaving. I can promise you, anytime that you're interviewing for a new job, you're going to be asked why you're leaving. They're going to ask you, hey, so-and-so, why are you leaving your previous job? Tell us why you're looking for a new job. And that's a valid question. They want to know why it is that you're looking for a new job. They want to know, hey, did something bad happen at her old job? Were there issues? What is it that's causing her to want to move on to something else? So just be honest. Be honest and tell them. There's nothing wrong with saying, look, I was able to do my job just fine, but I found after a while that it wasn't the right fit for me. It wasn't something that brought me joy. It wasn't something that I was passionate about, and I am really committed to finding a job that I am passionate about and finding a job that allows me to use my skill set better. If you are honest about why you're leaving and you can express that and you can convey that in a way that makes sense, then I don't think that any recruiter or interviewer can hold that against you. And I've had to do that a lot. I've had to do that many times, because here are a couple things that I have been paid to do in my short career. I'm 26 years old and I've had quite a few jobs. Started probably when I was like 15 or 16, and I used to help out my dad at his work. I like to think that I did like really important things, but really I just did some basic filing. I made him some binders, which, Father, if you're watching this, you better have not thrown out those binders that I made you, because I spent a lot of time working on them. And then after that, I started college and I worked as an FIU tour guide. So basically, I just gave college tours of the campus, and that was a lot of fun. I actually learned a lot from that job because I was used to having to speak in public and give speeches to the parents. And I think that even though I was making peanuts at that job, and it really just entailed, like, you know, walking around the campus in the sun and being all sweaty, I think I still learned a lot from that job. But being a campus tour guide was not what I was gonna do the rest of my life. So after that, I started working in the hospital, and I started off working as a secretary, opening mail and answering phones and booking conference rooms. I booked conference rooms. That was like big time as a secretary. And then after that, I got a promotion. I started working as an administrative assistant, and that job was really fun because I worked in employee relations and community relations. So all the employee events I worked on and any big events that were going on in the community, I got to help out with those too. So that was nice while it lasted. But then I decided I wanted to look into what the clinical side of the hospital looked like. And so I started working as a regulatory research coordinator, and I started working on all the clinical trials and managing all the paperwork that goes to the FDA. Again, something I knew nothing about, but I learned a lot of new skills. After that, I started working as a contract administrator, and I basically negotiated contracts for the IT departments at the hospital, and that was all right, but it was also boring, and I decided that was not going to be what I was going to do every day of my life. And then ultimately, I got my job in advertising, which is where I am now. So yes, you could say that I've been quite the job hopper. I am a job hopper. But in case my boss is watching, I am totally happy where I am now, and I have no intention of going anywhere because I finally made all those steps in my past to get to where I am today, which is exactly what I want to be doing. So no, I'm not going anywhere. You're gonna have to get rid of me if you want me to leave. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is something that I'm super passionate about, because I hear so many people complain about the jobs that they have, and then I'll ask them like, okay, well, if you hate it so much, like, what are you doing to find a new one? And usually their response is kind of like this: you know, I've been there already for like 10 years, so how am I gonna leave there? Or, you know what, I'm 50 years old, there's nothing else out there for me. And that's where I get really mad because I don't believe it. That doesn't work for me. I do not care how old you are. I do not care how long you've been at a company. I believe that if you are unhappy, you are miserable, you are at a job every day, 9 to 5, doing something that you hate, you owe it to yourself to find something new. We spend so much time, so much of our lives is spent at work. And if you are in a job that is just not for you, then you need to be taking steps to find something that is a better fit. So that's it. To recap, give your employer at least 1 year of your time. When you do leave, leave on good terms. Be strategic about your job hopping, and know that it's never too late to get a new job. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, please subscribe and tell me, what are your thoughts? Do you think job hopping is a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Has it ever backfired in your experience? Let me know. If you have any questions or you have any comments or you want to start a conversation, leave your comments down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right, guys, so that's it. We'll talk soon. Bye.